What's up, everyone? So we saw that yesterday. I did the video recapping the Lakers offseason. This video, I will be recapping pretty much the biggest moves of the offseason so far and kind of what it means for each team, and also talking about each team, what they can do to improve for the rest of this offseason. So the first team that I will be talking about will be the Philadelphia 76ers. And the only thing I feel like the Sixers are thinking about right now is whether they're going to keep Ben Simmons or not. And it seemed like by the end of the Hawks series, like he didn't really want the ball. And I feel like that's kind of what had made them lose the series. And at the beginning of the offseason, it seemed like the Sixers were going to keep Ben Simmons, but now it seems like they're closer to trading him. I've seen stuff about them trading him for maybe Damian Lillard or Paul George, possibly. I think if you can trade him for either Damian Lillard or Paul George, that would be good. And also if you decided to keep Simmons, that would be fine too. But I think one thing that would have helped the Sixers out in that Hawks series is if Danny Green didn't get hurt, I think they would have won that because, if you get him and Seth Curry, that creates more space around them for shooters, and then that can help Ben Simmons and Embiid play inside because that's when they did their best, when they had J.J. Redick on their team and he was making a ton of threes. Then Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid were able to have space inside. So I think they should make sure that they do re-sign Danny Green. So the next team that I will be talking about will be the New York Knicks. And the New York Knicks have had a great offseason so far. We saw them get Evan Fournier, and we saw them earlier today go out and get Kemba Walker after the Thunder bought him out, and he did great in Boston. I think his first year there for sure, and last year he was just injured a lot, so that kind of threw him off. And we saw Boston, they wanted to keep him, but it was like his salary was too big, so they had to let him go. And I think he will be good on the Knicks. Now the Knicks have a starting point guard that they can have. They can bring Derrick Rose then off the bench. And I think just with these two additions that it will give the Knicks a better chance to go deeper into the playoffs. So the next team that I will be talking about now is the Miami Heat. And the Miami Heat have been busy this offseason. We saw them go out and get Kyle Lowry. And I think a bigger move, possibly just as big of a move as them getting Kyle Lowry, is the addition of PJ Tucker. Because I think that once they lost Crowder, they didn't really have a player at the small forward position. And I think that's what kind of made them struggle in the playoffs. But now they have a guy like PJ Tucker, and I think he will have a huge impact on their team. You think that starting five at Kyle Lowry, Victor Oladipo, Jimmy Butler, PJ Tucker, and Bam Adebayo, and then you got Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson coming off the bench, that would be a good team. I think that they should get another point guard, maybe Rajon Rondo. Rajon Rondo would be great for the Miami Heat. He would make them a lot better. He could be a guy that could come off the bench, and he would also make them better in the postseason. So the next team that I will be talking about now will be the Boston Celtics. And the Boston Celtics, we saw they lost Evan Fournier, they lost Kemba Walker, but they did bring back Al Horford, who I think did really well while he was with the Celtics, and I think they would have been higher in the standings if Jaylen Brown did not get hurt last year. Maybe would have forced a more competitive series against Brooklyn if Jaylen Brown wasn't hurt. But now I think they just need to get a point guard. Look at a guy like John Wall, look at a guy like Dennis Schroeder, and then maybe the Celtics could get back to the Eastern Conference Finals. So now I will be talking about the Washington Wizards. And, we saw the Washington Wizards, them lose Russell Westbrook, but I think they will be fine. They added Spencer Dinwiddie there, but I think they need to get a player to replace Russell Westbrook. And I think if I'm the Wizards, I'm going to try to get John Wall back because, John Wall didn't want out of Washington. It was just they traded him because they could have got him for another superstar. So if I'm the Wizards GM, I'm trying to maybe make a trade with Houston for John Wall. So the next team I will be talking about will be the Indiana Pacers. And I think this will be a bounce back season for the Indiana Pacers. They are getting Karis LeVert and TJ Warren back. And I think one missing piece that they've had over the last few years, and probably the biggest one when they got swept by the Heat, is they didn't really have a true point guard. So, I would say try to go after a guy like John Wall or Rajon Rondo or Dennis Schroeder, and then that would maybe be the last missing piece that they would be looking for. So now the next team that I will be talking about will be the Chicago Bulls, and this has been a very busy offseason. We saw them get Alex Caruso, Lonzo Ball, and DeMar DeRozan, and I think this will really improve their team. Zach LaVine seems to get better every year. Now that they will have Nikola Vucevic for the whole year, now I think the Bulls are definitely a playoff team now. So now I will be talking about the New Orleans Pelicans, and we saw the Pelicans lose both Lonzo Ball and Eric Bledsoe, but they did add Devontae Graham, and I think that is a way underrated move that a lot of people are intending. Devontae Graham did great in Charlotte, and I think he will be able to come play alongside both Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram. And we saw the Pelicans also add Jonas Valanciunas, and maybe I think Devontae Graham could be the missing piece that could bring the Pelicans to the playoffs. You think 2 years ago in the bubble, the Pelicans were in actually good shape to get into the playoffs, but then you saw the league stop, the bubble happened, and Zion was just out of shape. So I think that if the NBA didn't stop, the Pelicans actually would have made the playoffs that season. So the last team that I will be talking about will be the Portland Trail Blazers. And the big question with the Blazers is, will they keep Damian Lillard? And Damian Lillard said that he didn't request a trade, but I think with Chauncey Billups now as the coach, a player that Damian Lillard has a great relationship with, I think that they might be able to work out in Portland unless, we saw the trade offer, or the trade that everyone's talking about might happen would be Damian Lillard for Ben Simmons. But I think that Damian Lillard will fit fine in Portland. I think it would be great if they stayed together just one more year to see how they would all work out with Chauncey Billups as the coach. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please click like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video.